Okay, so we're just going live. We're just testing this anyways. We're going to launch this in a second. And
Test. 1, 2, mic test, 1, 2, 3.
I hear ya. Cool. Let me just flip over to Facebook. Facebook might even see us go live any second. And if you jump onto my feed, you can share it.
I don't see you.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's there. It's live. Anyway, so this is our first episode, a little launch test, a pre-launch to the launch. To the launch? Is that what we're doing?
It's a pre-party.
Pre-party. This is what a headphone feels like. It's one of those parties,
yes,
right?
Yes.
This is how close to talk to the microphone.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different.
It is a little different. This is kind of cool. I'm excited for this thing. So what are we calling this show?
This is Sir Colin Campbell here and Gary McGowan with the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast.
I love it. I think each episode should have a title. Do you know what they call the first episode of each show that's launched? At least on TV.
What might that be, Gary?
Pilot. I'm so excited. We now have a show called Pilot. That's all I've ever wanted.
It is official. Gary and Colin, we have our first pilot.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Love it.
Are we live on Facebook as yet? How do I share that?
I'm suspecting so. Yeah. I'm trying to do 3 or 4 things at once here, but it's live. I see it on my feed.
Yeah.
So you have to jump onto my feed and see it and share it.
Okay, let me see.
I can't. I don't know what I'm doing at this moment, except for having some fun.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, this is all things real estate, all things not so black and white. Obviously, he's black, I'm white.
Are you?
I think so. I tell my kids that. I don't know. And it was one of those. How did we end up naming the show?
It's funny because we started with what? Ebony Ivory, like what?
And I can't sing.
Yeah.
Or play the piano.
Yes, and we said the black and white real estate podcast, and you, Gary, you said, you know what? We might be onto something. And then I think it was your wife who said, well, you guys are really not so black and white.
It's true.
And hence the name, the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast.
Yeah. She knows us best, apparently.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Well, this is a podcast, obviously, and live video feed here with Facebook, and we're going to talk about a lot of things about real estate, a lot of things about why we do what we do, invest in real estate, help clients buy real estate, help clients build wealth, the ups and downs, and how you messed up, how I messed up.
Oh, my goodness.
All that
I
kind of
have
stuff.
a long list.
We're here for a long time.
All right.
It's all good. Now, we're looking forward to what we can do here. I'm going to ask you this random question off the top.
Go ahead.
What's been the funnest thing about being in real estate?
Whoa. It's got to be the clients that you work with every day. I think that in itself, even just thinking about it, it just brings a smile to your face, and you think, yeah, it's definitely the clients. What
the
about
people?
It's definitely the people that we work with every day. What would it be for you?
I gotta say the people from a couple of different angles, and that's because without the people, there's no reason why we go buy investment properties. There's no reason why we help somebody
build
wealth or sell their home they've been in for 40 years to get into a smaller home,
downsizing,
or change the location, all that kind of stuff. And it's one of these ever-changing jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't think of it as a job, but it's the playing field is ever changing because every conversation is going to be different.
Why did you choose real estate as a career?
You got time?
I think we got another 10 minutes.
I always say, people will often say you fall into your job or you fall into your profession. And I guess I did in one hand, but when I was 10 years old, I was being trained for this job, whether I liked it or not, or whether I even knew it.
Yeah.
And we've been investing in real estate for about 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
But my backstory is my father and mother have always owned investment properties.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
So I'm that 10-year-old or 12-year-old painting a bedroom that I've never been in before and will never get to sleep in.
So you've been groomed and mentored into the position from day one.
And make a long story short, we start, you start looking at life and you're like, how do I build wealth? Well, I want to buy real estate. And about 15 years ago, we decided, that might be an opportunity for us, but how do you do that?
Yes.
And my mother and father said they were going to buy some properties, some more additional properties. We said, We want in.
Yeah.
So you get in and you start educating yourself. You start meeting like-minded people, and we grew our portfolio to about 5 different properties.
Yeah.
And from flips to multiplexes to things we messed up to things we did great at, we did a lot of it. And during that time, my job, I was at Bell Canada, is where I ended up and I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't realize outside of my work life, I was being groomed as a real estate investor.
Interesting.
Right? And you love my headset, Carrie. I love your headset, Carrie. Beats always go down.
Hey, Carrie.
As people jump online here. Mark Loeffler, how you doing? That's right. Anyway, so I decided, well, I'm going to step back from my job at Bell Canada, and a lot of people couldn't figure out why I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Secure job, was Indian Union, and those were all the things that I really hated.
Yeah.
You know, the ceiling was here, and I was already at the top of it.
Of course.
So I decided to get my Realtors license
Yeah.
with actually the encouragement of Mark Loeffler.
Mark Loeffler.
Right?
It seems like he's been very instrumental in getting a lot of people their real estate license. Big shout out to Mark Loeffler out in Oakville there. So any real estate agent looking to join a great team, reach out to him. He's a great mentor and friend.
There you go. There you go, Mr. Loeffler. And so I got my license because I wanted to transact on my own properties.
Yes.
I do a few deals a year that helps us, and we're doing some flips, and we thought I would be a real estate investor. That's a hard living to do, right? It's a hard living to do. And then once you got your license, I'm sure, and you've experienced this yourself, because of my experience, my personal experience as a real estate investor, other investors wanted me to transact on them for their investment properties.
Absolutely.
And I thought to myself, I do 2 or 3 deals, boom, 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 I can make a living out of this.
Yes.
And one thing led to another, and there's another story behind where we are today in Stouffville, and we'll talk about that maybe on another podcast.
Absolutely.
But that was a long-winded question or a long-winded answer to how did you get started or why did I choose real estate. It chose me a long time ago.
Oh, I love that.
A long time ago, and I love it. I love it.
Any
what about
regrets
yourself?
so far?
What's that?
Any regrets so far?
I didn't start sooner.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I like that. For me, similar to your background, it seems like.
Hey, Kayla. Sorry, I had to jump in there.
That's all right. It seems like I always knew real estate was it. It was definitely a fear of jumping into real estate because I've had a lot of executive position, district manager, so on. I knew real estate I will do extremely well in. However, it's that fear of, not creating your own paycheck.
Yeah.
And I think that held me back, I want to say, for 10 plus years.
Wow.
And then I finally made the jump with the encouragement of my wife and kids. So they've sacrificed huge for me to be here, for me to pursue something that I love and continue to, give them props and give shout out to them because thanks to them, I am where I am today and really enjoying it. Right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. I'm having fun playing with the different camera angles. Sorry.
It's funny because Gary likes gadgets and gizmos.
I like the tech stuff.
Yeah,
It's
he's
all
always
good.
into these stuff. So, for those of you out there, what would you like to hear from us? What would you like us to talk about today in our first, according to Gary, our pilot
show?
Our pilot show.
We're going to be a hit now because we have a show called Pilot.
Yes,
I'm
that's
sure of it.
exciting.
Yeah. Do you have the Facebook feed up?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. I should ask you a question from Facebook.
Oh no, that's too complicated for me.
I don't think I could handle that. So some of the things we're going to obviously cover over the next however many podcast episodes that we do for this season. We've got some very high producing realtors to talk about some of their leadership skills.
Yes.
We've actually tapping into some of the mayors around the York region area
Absolutely.
to talk about their leadership skills. So this podcast is obviously about the not so black and white things in real estate, but really how do we raise the bar?
Absolutely. How do we take real estate to the next level? I mean, there's a lot of noise out there in terms of what is happening in real estate. And most of it, if you're getting your news from, social media, a lot of the information you're getting are not positive. So it's just for us to shine some light on that, just to put you in the know, right?
Yeah, put you in the know. Mark Loeffler's already taking digs at me online here.
Oh.
Why doesn't Gary McGowan have more profit share? Mark,
We'll invite Mark on one of our podcasts.
that's all the audience needs. Anyways, that's pretty cool. Love it. And we'll talk about things like profit share. What is profit share? And that's something specific to Keller Williams and
Yep.
other brokerages, kind of follow the model and do different things, but that's something really cool to us, and we'll dig into what profit share is and really for those that are somewhat curious, to me it's a retirement plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
It's that passive income which most real estate investors are always looking for.
Yep.
Is passive income. So talk to me a little bit about some of your investment properties. Why did you choose investment properties?
For me, it's create multiple streams of income. It seems like the wealthy ones know how to create multiple streams, and I was just a single stream income. Well, both my wife and I, and it's like, okay, how do we create more? So when we stop working, our monies can be working for us, and then got into real estate. And then we started investing into properties. I think with surrounding myself with a lot of investors, you started to learn different strategies to see what people are doing, what you can learn from, and you just fall right into it. And I think that's how we met. That's how we got connected. How many years ago? From RAIN, right?
From RAIN, yeah, Real Estate Investment Network here in Canada.
Yeah.
And we knew I think we may have met once or twice
Yes.
before meeting at the brokerage. And I got to bring up Mark's name again.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't.
So there's this guy that said to Colin, "You got to go meet Gary." This guy walked into my office up at our brokerage in Newmarket, and we looked at each other like, "Man, we know each other."
Yeah,
It was one of those, right?
yeah,
And that was, a 5-year-long friendship, like
Absolutely.
right away. And those, back to why do we get into real estate, or what's the fun things about real estate? It's the people. It's the people you meet, and whether it's the like-minded people that you get to work with every day, like yourself, right?
And it's funny being now in the real estate industry. Some of the relationships that I've developed, even with our clients, who knew like some of my clients would be some close friends now, just from a simple transaction. I reached out to one of my clients who've just moved out of, the York region area, and like she's just a great friend.
Yeah.
And it's always nice hearing from her. So it's the relationship that are built. It's just something I truly cherish. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thinking forward about our podcast and what value are we going to be bringing to the audience? What are some of the things you're excited about over the next year or so? That's as different things and different elements we're bringing into here.
Definitely, I would like us to touch on a lot of current events. For instance, the deadline for municipalities passing what was it called?
The cannabis?
Yeah.
Is that what you're after?
Oh, yes,
yeah.
Cannabis shops. I think it's just Aurora and Stouffville that went ahead with that. So just like to touch, I would, in future podcasts, I would like to touch on that to see how it can affect your real estate investments or your home, if any, because there's a lot of white noise around there about that. I'd like to talk about multiple streams of incomes. What are we as realtors doing? What can, someone who has equity in their home, how can you pull some of that money out to create added streams of income? So now you're planning for your future, your family's future. So for me, it's along the lines of wealth creation. I would like to touch a lot on that.
Yeah. Some of the things I'm excited about is obviously the people and some of the guests we have lined up to talk about, their journey, their path, their leadership. But as you mentioned, like some of those current affairs things, like just simple things like last week, what happened with 3 or 4 of the major banks in Canada? They've reduced their interest rates.
That's right.
And what's the ripple effect? right?
Yeah.
And in fact, at our investment workshop tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about that ripple effect and what does that mean. And for those of you that are kind of in the know, you know that when banks start making announcements like reducing their rates and along those lines, like that to me is one of the largest votes of confidence into the market.
Yes.
Right? When a major bank reduces their 5-year lending rate, versus the bank is saying, we know and we think, not that we think, we know that real estate is where people need to be investing, and we're going to help them do that.
And it's basically that encouragement to, and for those of you who are sitting on the sidelines, it's time to get out there and buy. And I think that is the signal. That's the signal that we're starting to see with a reduction of fixed interest rates there.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of the comments right now
What are
about the
the comments?
cannabis, and Steve Giacchilo says he's heard there's going to be a 3-year shortage for cannabis.
Oh.
I certainly hope that's not personal experience. But it's funny, like going back to that cannabis conversation, we're actually in a really unique, geographically we're in a unique area, because our hometown farm area is Stouffville, yours is Aurora.
Aurora, correct.
Those are the only 2 towns in York region that said they would accept a cannabis store in
Absolutely. And I know for a lot of the municipalities, like even, residents in the area, they were concerned about how is this going to affect my property value. It's, as far as we know, it has no impact on property value.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know enough about it. I just, from what I've been reading, some of the stuff online, and you can't always, truthfully, you can't always agree and take the things you read online to be at true value.
Yeah.
But just to say yes, there's government funding to those cities, to those towns that even say yes, even though they don't get a cannabis store. And Stouffville's not going to get one anyways because we have a population of less than 50,000.
Oh, really?
So there was one side of the argument or the debate was yes, say yes, because you're going to get part of that government funding, even though we don't meet the minimum criteria.
Interesting.
So of that element, when I hear about things like that, I'm like, yeah, well, that does make sense, even though, if you were to ask me, I would probably be opposed to it.
Yeah.
For other reasons. But I don't have all the information in front of me either.
Yeah. I think what we need to do is, if possible, maybe reach out to one of the mayors, whether it's the mayor of Stouffville, the mayor of Aurora, to see if we can get them on here to just shed some light on the situation and dispel a lot of the myths around, the municipalities opening up a storefront.
Yeah. And some of the other things we're going to be talking about and looking at is why is the Toronto real estate market, like, what's going on there? Are we flat there? I talked to a good friend of mine and his primary source of income is pre-built condos, right, pre-construction condos. And why are they not selling at this current moment? Not to say they're not selling, but why are they not selling at this current moment? What do the higher interest rates or the higher stress tests have to do with our rental rates?
Yeah.
Because the higher the stress test, it's driven up what? It's driven up the rental rates.
Of course, and we're seeing rental rates skyrocket. I'm excited to dissect the real estate market and just shine some light on that, because there's a lot of myths out there concerned. Is the market going down more? Have we hit rock bottom? When is the right time to buy, sell? Really delve into that and really advise our listeners or our clients out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What are you seeing over the next month or two? Like so let's kind of talk about geographically where you do most of your transactions.
Yes. So most of our transactions are Aurora Newmarket area.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you see that's going on there at the moment?
It's funny because over the last week, and we're also starting to see a build up within the last week.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
Jen, okay?
Yeah, just keep talking. I'm gonna just start saying hi to people as they jump on here.
No, we're just start seeing a lot more inventory come to the market. Was looking at Bradford's numbers yesterday, actually, because we have one of our listings out there. And, we were looking at homes in the Bradford area last year. Same time, we had 78 homes on the market. And March, I think it was the middle of March, it went to 184, just like that. So now that's like a 230% increase.
Wow.
today, I think we have 164 homes on the market. So if you were to just have that 230% increase, what is the market going to look like mid-March? You're right. So it's a lot more inventory coming to the market. I think we've hit rock bottom already. It's a great time to buy or sell or invest in real estate right now.
Yeah, definitely. So our geographic area that we focus on the most is Stouffville. It's a small market to focus on, but that's where we live, that's where we work, that's where we play right here.
Yeah.
And our inventory actually was reduced a little bit over say the fourth quarter of 2018, and sales were down as most other areas were.
Of course.
But we're starting to see a little bit. It's kind of that New Year's resolution. We're seeing a little bit of traction come back.
Yes.
Meaning, when I say traction, I mean activity.
Mm-hmm.
So things are selling, condition upon financing inspection. And believe it or not, and I know you've experienced this too, condition on the sale of the buyer's house.
That's right.
So what are you telling your buyers and sellers right now? Do you buy first? Do you sell first? What are you doing?
It comes down to total comfort level of our clients, and each situation is totally different. A majority of our clients right now, they're selling first.
Yeah.
That's what a majority. What are you seeing out there?
What are we seeing? Well, we're definitely seeing the necessity to sell first.
Yeah.
And we've done it a couple of times in the past where we go put an offer in on a property, get it accepted subject to the sale of the buyer's house, and call it like it is. We've had to let that property go sometimes because we couldn't sell that house.
Yeah.
So we are strictly telling our sellers now, let's get your property up for sale. Let's market it the way that we're going to do, and market it to the fact that we're going to get it sold. And we got to get it sold first, because when you have a sold property, what does that give you?
You're motivated now.
Well, you're motivated, and for us, it gives us leverage.
Absolutely.
Because now we have leverage to go in. No, we've sold.
We sold already.
And when you're talking to another seller, now you're talking as a buyer to a seller, that's leverage. Here's a qualified buyer, and those are hard to find at the moment.
Absolutely. Now, what do you say for people who ask, what type of real estate market are we in? Are we in a buyer's market, a seller's market? What are you seeing?
So that's a great question. I love that you asked that question. There's two answers, okay? And
I see you're getting excited.
I am. And there's two answers because we're just not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the numbers, X amount of sales means we're still in a seller's market. If things sell within a certain amount of time, so less than typically 2-3 months, we're in a seller's market.
Yeah.
Balanced market is 3 to 5 months. Anything over that is a buyer's market. However, because things are taking 4 months, 5 months to sell, like the GTA, this area, York Region, GTA, we're not used to that.
Yeah.
So we think we're in a buyer's market. Sellers still think they're in a seller's market. We haven't come to that balanced ground yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Really. And the seller's expectation still needs to change, in my opinion.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
I think we are still focused on our 2017, 2016 numbers, right? Okay. So Stouffville would have lost about 20 to 25%, maybe even more. So $1 million home is now at say 750 or 800,000.
Yeah.
And our mentality is, well, I should have sold, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
That ship is sailed. I should have bought Apple at what price, right?
When
Apple was $87
exactly
a share.
Well, my experience with Apple, I own Apple shares right now.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I own very few shares, and Apple is one of them, Apple stock. And I bought it at $60 years ago. And I just sit on, it's one of those sit and forget.
Yeah.
And then Diane, who works for us, is like, Gary, Apple's at like $220 right now? I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Do you know it's down to like $140 right now?
You're not selling, so it doesn't matter.
I should have sold. I'm having that seller's remorse now. I should have done it.
So when is the right time to buy and sell?
Anytime.
All right.
What's your motivation?
What's your motivation?
Right?
Yeah.
What's your motivation? Is it an investment property? Well, then the right time might be the right location.
Yes.
Right? Is it you're selling because of lifestyle? Well, that's a different choice, right? And I think that's important for sellers to understand. A good agent's going to come in there and not just say, yeah, we can sell your house for $1 million. Move you over to here for whatever price that is. No, I think the right question is, okay, why do you want to sell?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Lead
for
into
sure.
the motivation. And I know this is our pilot. We're going to be jumping all over, and then in the future we really start streamlining. I know you work a lot with investors, Gary. Investor approach you to say, "Hey, I'm looking to buy." What are some of the advice you're giving them in terms of location? Like, what are you saying?
That's kind of a loaded question, and we get that, and I know you do. We get that question a lot as real estate investors come to us, and especially investors that don't own a property yet.
Yeah.
I want to go buy an investment property. Awesome. Good for you. Let me ask you about 9,000 questions first.
Yeah.
Right? Why do you want to buy an investment property?
What does this look like for you?
Exactly. What does it look like? What's your 5-year goal? Because we can go buy one, then you're handcuffed for 10 years because you can't buy another one, right? What type of, and I think another question, a huge question is, what type of tenant do you want to have? Because some people don't think about that.
Yeah,
some people don't.
Your tenant profile. What is the tenant profile you're looking for? Yeah.
Because if you want like that executive style and not have to deal with it, not have to talk to them, well, let's go buy a condo downtown somewhere.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe turn it into an Airbnb and have somebody else manage it for you. And that's another question. How do you manage it, especially if you're an hour and a half away from the property? But once we get through all that and kind of figure out where, and of course, a big question is how much funds do you, or how, what's
the budget?
What's the budget? What are the funds?
Yeah.
I like to stick into the areas that I know.
Yeah.
Barrie. I own in Barrie.
Yeah.
That's a great market. Hamilton, it's a great market.
Yes.
Out east, Oshawa, Curtis area, that's a decent area. I don't know the Kitchener-Waterloo market as well, or at all.
Yeah, okay.
But we do send clients down there, London area for sure. What about yourself?
For us, it's sticking to the areas that we know. Know the Hamilton area, know Barrie in particular. We spent a lot of time in Collingwood, so we know that area, and we're starting to look more into that area. But more it's York region or Simcoe area. We did some work in Oshawa, Ajax area, so it's picking an area where the knowledge is there. And for me, I like to know that I can drive by my property.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, just like that. It's just, I can drive by and take a look at it.
Yeah.
I remember my son saying one time, "Can we just drive by and look at look at our property?" Oh. Actually, he said, "Can I drive by and look at my house?" Because
my house. I like it.
No, it's not this yet.
Yeah, but there's investors that are out there that buy investment properties because they know buying a property for their son or daughter is a far better investment than doing the self-directed or an RSP, like that education program, or another type of vehicle, another type of investment people. They know the true value of that investment property. Because at the end of the day, if you buy one when your child is only 5 years old and they're moving to school at the age of 18 or 19, it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it could be sold. They can live in it. All sorts, right?
Yeah. It's funny because for us, like that's the strategy we've used for our kids, right?
Cool. Yeah, your kids are a little ahead of mine, just slightly, but yeah. What's Chris is saying here? You might know Chris.
Chris who?
He didn't say that.
My brother Chris?
Yeah.
Well, I can't see who it is.
Oh, I thought you were on the Facebook feed there.
I am.
What's he saying here? Chris, some of my buyers are saying that they are waiting for the market to go down. I love when buyers say that. I love it.
How do you answer that question?
I say, cool. We're buying right now. And here's the stats of why we are buying. So, for instance, if someone were to say that to me in the Stouffville area, Chris is laughing at you, by the way. We show them the stats from last July. And fast forward, they lost about $80,000 because the market went up on them.
Of course.
And we actually did a really fun video. Steve and I really did a fun video. What you could buy for $80,000. Corvette, hamburgers for the whole town of Pembroke, all sorts of crazy stuff, right? But that's the problem that people tend to have. Is I'm going to wait, and they miss the train.
It's funny because it comes down to time in the market, and no one ever can really time the market. For me, what we do, we just draw a line and just tell me when we hit bottom, and it just keep going downwards.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me when we're at the bottom. And then we just shoot right back up.
Yeah. So like, there's areas, and you got to watch that. Yeah, I think as a real estate investor, if we're talking about investing, you got to watch where those areas are.
Yeah.
And yeah, every market has its ebb and flows. I remember last year we did a series with Dion Begg, a mortgage broker, about leveraging your equity and buying an investment property. What does that look like? And it was to a crowd of really people that had just started their process of buying investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember putting up, and for those of you that were there, I put a picture up of an elephant in a room. I said, let's talk about the elephant.
Yes.
Let's talk about 2016, 2017. It was amazing. And it sucked.
Yep.
Huge. All at the same time. And our portfolio went up, I don't know, 20, 30%. So when you own at the time we owned about 10 properties,
Yeah.
you can just imagine, you just think about where you are and owning 10 properties. If it went up 30%, is that a good day?
That's a great day.
And then it goes down 35 some odd percent. How is that?
Ow.
And you know what I said? And I had a lot of people look at me like I was an idiot. But then once I explained it, they realized the true meaning of real estate. I couldn't care less.
No.
Right? Neither could you.
No. I'm not selling.
We're not selling. We're not buying. We're not selling in this market for the short term. We're not buying to sell in the same market.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, and the beauty about this market is, if we're buying and selling in the same market, it's great, right? If you've purchased investment properties in 2017 and you intend to sell today, it's not going to be good, right? Yeah. So yeah, and I remember talking to one of our clients who invests in the stock market. He has a huge company, and he did mention, I think this was in December when the market plunged, 500 points one day or 600 points one day. He said right now, just on the books, they're down 5 million. He says, but it doesn't matter because I'm not selling the stocks.
Not selling, yeah.
I'm not selling, so it doesn't matter, right? So.
Yeah, we've always said that real estate is best looked at from the long-term investment standpoint. Yeah. And yeah, there's opportunities that present themselves as, a short-term or a flip or something. What's the shortest amount of time you've ever owned a property?
Shortest amount of time is 5.5 years.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, 5.5 years.
I think ours is, and we've done a few flips.
Yeah.
So let's take that out of the equation. So those flips tend to be about
6
4
months.
to 8 months, depending. Yeah. The best one we ever did was 6 months.
Okay.
From the day we actually took the keys to the day we gave away the keys.
Yeah.
So that included renovating and everything. The shortest amount of time we've owned a property for our long-term investment was 18 months.
18 months. Wow.
Because the market told us,
yeah,
it's time to sell.
Yeah.
There was money on the table, and we had bought. This was about 9 years ago, so the numbers, just imagine what those numbers look like today. But we had bought for like $180,000.
Yeah.
Wish I could do that today, right?
Well, there's still opportunities.
There's still
there, right?
Funny. Okay, so let's talk about that, and then I'll get back to that story. How many conversations have you been in with non-real estate investors that said, we should have kept that house. We only bought it for $150,000 or $180,000.
I think that's almost 60% of any investor, right?
Yeah,
yeah, because they wish they had held on to the property.
And it was typically 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're trying to remind them of that experience. Well, if and a lot of the people that we're working with, they might have kids in their 20s or 30s. Well, let's help them buy that property, because in 20 or 30 years, they're going to say the exact same thing.
Well,
right?
It's the age-old saying, when is the best time to plant a tree, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years ago, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So back to my story of the 18-month story. We bought this property for $180,000. It was actually a power sale.
Yeah.
And somehow we negotiated. Typically with power sale, you don't typically get to put conditions in. Somehow we did. Great.
Wow.
And I wasn't a realtor at that time. Great realtor, Robert DiMatteo. And great stuff for us. And we bought the property. We did about $15,000 renovations to the main floor. It was a 2-unit home, semi. And then about a year into it, we renovated the basement. So now we had 2 updated suites, did some waterproofing to the house. So our total cost of the property is about $230,000-ish, we'll call it. And they were selling for $310,000. So just the scale of numbers, it made sense for us.
It made sense to sell at that point.
And we put it up for sale. It was sold within the week, and we moved on. And it was at a time where we could use that cash somewhere else, and it made sense for us. Right.
So, and I know you guys have had a huge portfolio when it comes to investing. What are some of the ways you've added values to a property?
So that's my second favorite question to ask, right?
Okay.
And I'm sure this will come up 1,000 times. There's three questions. Three questions that
What
I
are
ask
those three questions?
when buying an investment property. And people that listen to me already know this, and they're like, I'm just sick of this. But you got to ask those three questions. How are you going to buy the property?
Yep.
How can you add value to the property? And then how are you going to sell it?
Okay.
Love adding value to the property.
So what do you do?
Love doing rentals. And I look at properties. In fact, we have one right now. We've owned it for 10 years. Tenant moved out, so we can sell it as is, or we can add value to it. Meaning, we can give it an update, new kitchen, bathroom, all that kind of stuff. Those are the easy things to look at, right? Mm-hmm. That's what most people see. It's an old house. I can update it, and it's all good. I think where the creativity comes from is, okay, can we put a second suite in that house?
Yeah. Yes.
No. If it's a yes, what do we got to do? How much is that going to cost?
Yeah.
Because that's going to add value. That's going to add income, which is the value. Maybe the other question is, how can you increase the income?
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth more to another buyer. So is it renting out the garage?
I like that.
Is it obviously increasing the rents? How do we do that if the tenants have been there for a long time? In Ontario, where we are, the government of Ontario tells us how much we can increase it.
Of
and
course.
It's like nothing.
Pennies.
Yeah. 1% a year, basically.
How much is inflation annually?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. The gas company knows how much it is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, those are some of the things that I like to do. I love doing rentals. Love. I used to get my hands dirty, but I realized other people are way faster at it than I am.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
for someone who, don't have any investment property, but that desire is there to own an investment property, what do you recommend to them?
So if they want to own, the first thing you got to do is educate yourself, right? Take action.
Yeah.
I think the most, apart from educating yourself is important, but you got to be around like-minded people, right? So if, for instance, if you want to get into CrossFit, you don't do it by yourself.
No, you hang around with a bunch of people who are into CrossFit.
Yeah. So if you want to go buy investment property, what are you going to do?
Hang around with people who own investment properties.
Exactly. And that's the same with buying investment. Obviously, in this situation, we're talking about buying investment properties. You're going to do that.
Yeah.
You want to naturally do that. So get around like-minded people, ask questions, take them to lunch, offer some value to them, and see where that's going for you. But definitely get around like-minded people, educate yourself. Ask us. You can ask us for a couple of different books for sure, and we will typically send you a couple of different books.
And I think that is how I think one of my first joint venture was just taking someone out for lunch.
Cool.
Right.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of joint ventures, and I know you've done your share.
Yeah.
What's a joint venture for those that have never heard of that before?
It's just someone you can either partner with to help you own properties or buy properties. That's basic, as basic as it gets. Whether that joint venture could be your mom or dad, a friend. It's funny because most joint ventures almost even start with family. Most of them start with family, right? Or, just someone who's like-minded. They might have the money, you have the knowledge, or you both have the money and you partner with someone with the knowledge, right? So it's for people who are considering getting into, owning investment properties, you don't necessarily have the funds available. Please partner with someone who might have that knowledge, and you guys go out there and take action. Because I think that in itself holds so many people back from owning investment properties. Well, I'm going to wait until I have X, and then they still have to live, and then, they miss out. 5 years have gone by, 10 years have gone by, and they're still, planning to own an investment property. Just do it, right?
Just do it. Yeah.
Surround yourself with people who are doing it. Acquire that knowledge and take action.
for sure. For sure. I have no idea if this feed is still up because I kind of lost my connection, but I think it's still up.
Okay.
Anyways,
What else you want to talk about before we sign off?
I don't know. Or Mike is, hey, Rhonda. Top secret, it's Mars creeping through Rhonda's Facebook. Yeah. We know. Kirby says hello as well.
What up, Kirby?
He's our guy. If you want to talk about Facebook and all that kind of stuff, Kirby's the man. So, and I think that's to jump onto the social media aspect. Social media has changed the way I think people learn about, current events, news, all sorts of stuff. I mean, we're utilizing it. We're leveraging it right now, obviously. Yeah. And it's easy to be fearful after reading any social media posts, right? Especially about real estate.
Absolutely, because everything negative news sells, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
And if social media is the only place you're getting your news from, it could be a scary place out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real estate could be very scary. And that's why we're here to shine some light and, just hence the not so black and white real estate podcast. That's right. To shine some light on real estate and what's happening in the area.
That's right. That's right. So what's, what do you got planned over the next month or so?
For me, it's over the next month, it's a lot of learning. Have 2 or 3 training sessions sessions that I'm going to. One about a shifting market. So it's an international speaker. He's coming in from the U.S. He's going to be talking about a shifting market, how they adapted to it in 2007, 2008. Then we have a great coach. I think it's Tallahassee, Florida. I'm not sure. Somewhere in Florida. Gene Rivers, he's going to be talking about lead generation.
Yeah.
So then after that, we have our family reunion, Keller Williams family reunion. I think I'm there from the 14th to, anyway, some days in February I'm there. So for the next month, it's me just, front-loading learning. Right.
Yeah, and so family reunion. Tell listeners what exactly that is.
Family reunion for us at Keller Williams is where I think the last family reunion we had 18,000 agents from around the world. We were in California last year?
Anaheim. Yeah, that's
Anaheim,
right.
California. So it's just you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, high-level top producers, and you're just there to learn and soak up as much as possible. You're there for 3 to 5 days, getting as much information. And I think what has been effective for me is just going to these events with one goal in mind. Okay, what is the one thing I need to walk away with from this event that will change my business?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's always one of those events that you go there knowing you're going to learn something, but you have no idea what it is. And you go with, obviously you go with the mindset that, I'm going to focus on this year. I'm going to focus on that. And you get there, you get into those seminars or workshops, and something just blows you out of the water.
My biggest takeaway from family reunion last year, it wasn't even inside any of the sessions. It was a session where Kelly pulled us over and said, come on, listen to this top producer. And it's the top coach in our company. And he was basically saying how we need to stay in communications with our database, our clients. Keep communicating with them. Stay on top of it. Because the thing that we have out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, we communicate with our Mets, the people who know us, we know, 33 times a year. And he's basically saying, that's not enough. And I was like, really? 33 times is not enough?
Yeah.
Now we're being told, a lot of these big teams are even communicating 54 times and more. And for me, it right away drive that fear, like that is so much. But then he used the analogy of Amazon. Amazon is communicating with you every day.
Yeah.
Almost every day. So if not 250 times a year, Amazon is communicating with you. And they're bringing you a lot of value. So how can we bring value to our clients? And that was my biggest takeaway from family reunion last year.
Yeah, for sure. I loved that one. And I was standing there with you, and it was that It was an aha moment. And
Yeah.
you both and I use that analogy in all of our training courses.
Of course.
And
Because
I used it.
The thing that we have
I
out
used
of the
it.
Millionaire Real Estate
That's
Agent,
cool. Somehow I'm
we
playing this
communicate
back
with our Mets.
It's one of those things, and I used it yesterday in the workshop that I was hosting.
The people who know us, we know.
I have no idea
What
what's
does
going
that
on
mean?
here. Here we go. That's better.
Okay, good.
When you do it for the first time, you still run through all the technical, the funness of it all. But it's one of those eye openers that, and one of those examples that everyone shops on Amazon.
Yeah.
Why? They make it easy.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
They make it easy. They stay in contact with you. They stay on top of all the items you've left in the shopping cart.
Yep.
Do you still want to check out?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't care what type of business you run, whether it's, a cleaning service business to selling insurance to a bake shop down the street. We're always selling.
Yeah, we're in service. We're in service
right?
to others, right?
And I don't care. It doesn't have to be real estate, but it's all about what value can you provide and staying on top and staying connected with people. And that's one of the things that we hope to do with this podcast is to offer insight and value to others and kind of shed the light on some of the behind the scenes stuff that we do as real estate agents or as business owners. And I bet you a lot of you that aren't in real estate will be able to relate because it's a lot of the same things that you do.
Yep.
Right. Cool.
All right. Well, we're going to be wrapping this up very soon. This is our first. It's our pilot. It's our pilot podcast. So the Not So Black and White Real Estate podcast. Gary and I were going to be bringing a lot of information to you. We're going to be interviewing a lot of top producers. We're going to be interviewing, mayors, top leaders, just to learn from them. So please reach out to us. Let us know what is it you would like for us to cover, and we will do our absolute best.
Cool. I think this is where I hit the button to play all the outro music.
Okay.
I don't have a button nor the outro music yet.
You can sing for us.
No, I can't.
All right, guys.
We'll bye for now, and this we'll let you know when the next one's happening, so you have some what's the word I'm looking for? Here's the awesomeness of doing live broadcasts. You can't think of what you need to say.
What is the word you're looking for?
I don't know. I thought you knew it.
Neither can
Yeah,
I.
right,
I don't read mine. Sorry.
You will know that a podcast and our live Facebook feed is going to happen the next time we actually make it.
Absolutely.
Happen.
Yes. All right. This is Sir Colin signing out with Gary McGowan.
And this is not Sir Colin or Sir anything, but this is Gary A. McGowan, and we'll chat with you guys later. Bye for now.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.